September 3rd, 1260. At sunrise, the hills of northern Palestine turned gold. Below them lay the Jezreel Valley. It looked wide, calm, and perfect for cavalry. Two men watched in silence. One was Sultan Qutuz, ruler of Egypt. The other was Baybars, his top general. They were waiting for the Mongols. For almost 50 years, the Mongols had destroyed everything in their path. From China to Eastern Europe, no army had stopped them. Cities burned. Kingdoms fell. Millions died. Now they were coming to Palestine. Baybars believed the Mongols could be defeated here, not with more soldiers, not with better weapons, but with the land. To understand how risky this was, we must go back 2 years. Baghdad, 1258 Baghdad, had been the center of the Islamic world for 500 years. It was famous for its libraries, scholars, and culture. The Mongols destroyed it in a few days. They killed hundreds of thousands of people. They threw books into the Tigris River until the water turned black with ink. They executed the Caliph, the spiritual leader of Islam. After Baghdad, nothing stopped them. They took Aleppo. They took Damascus. Egypt was next. By 1260, only one power stood in their way, the Mamluk Sultanate. The Mamluks were different from other armies. They were slave soldiers, taken as boys and trained for years. They lived on horseback. They mastered archery, discipline, and cavalry tactics. Like the Mongols, they came from the steppe. They understood Mongol warfare. When Mongol messengers arrived in Cairo, they demanded surrender. Sultan Qutuz answered by executing the envoys and hanging their heads on the city gates. There would be no surrender. But Qutuz also knew something important. The Mongol army was not at full strength. A power struggle had forced Hulagu Khan to return east. He left about 10,000 to 20,000 soldiers in Syria under General Kibuka. Still dangerous, but weaker. Qutuz marched north with about 20,000 to 25,000 Mamluk troops. On the way, something unexpected happened. The Mamluks passed through Crusader lands. Normally enemies, the Crusaders allowed them to pass and even set up supply camps. They feared the Mongols more than the Mamluks. Survival mattered more than religion. When the army reached Palestine, Baybars took command of the advance. He knew this land well. He had lived here in exile. He knew every hill, stream, and narrow pass. And he knew one key weakness: Mongol horses. Mongol ponies were perfect for grasslands. They were fast and strong. They could travel long distances without supplies. But Palestine was rocky, not flat. Grass was scarce. Mongol horses wore no horseshoes. Mamluk horses did. That mattered. Baybars chose the battlefield, Ain Jalut. It was a narrow part of the Jezreel Valley. Hills closed in on both sides. Trees and rocks provided cover. The open valley would pull the Mongols in. The hills would hide the trap. The night before the battle, most of the Mamluk army hid in the hills. Only Baybars and a small force stayed in the open. They were bait. At sunrise, September 3rd, 1260, Kibuka advanced. He saw a small enemy force and felt confident. For decades, this meant easy victory. Baybars attacked first, then retreated, then attacked again. Each time he pulled back farther. Finally, he ran. To the Mongols, it looked familiar. A fleeing enemy? A sure win. Kibuka ordered the charge. The Mongols rode straight into the valley. Then everything changed. Mamluk cavalry poured down from the hills on both sides. Infantry appeared from hiding. Thousands of arrows fell at once. Drums thundered across the valley. The Mongols tried to regroup. but the ground worked against them. Horses slipped on rocks. Formations broke. Then something new happened. Mamluk hand cannons fired. They were inaccurate, but loud. Smoke filled the air. Horses panicked. Heavy Mamluk cavalry charged into the chaos. The battle lasted hours. At one moment, the Mongols nearly broke through. Seeing danger, Sultan Qutuz removed his helmet and charged forward, shouting for his men to stand and fight. They did. Some Syrian soldiers forced to fight for the Mongols switched sides during the battle. The Mongols were surrounded. Kitbuka refused to flee. He fought until captured. He was executed on the battlefield. By nightfall, the Mongol army was destroyed. For the first time ever, a Mongol field army had been completely defeated. They would never again invade Egypt. The victory at Ain Jalut stopped the Mongol advance west. It saved the Middle East from total destruction. It proved the Mongols could be beaten. And it changed history